as we come back into the Hall of Fame, where hockey and baseball and soccer, the dividends of the markets, the businesses we run, the trucks on the road, machinery, piping and plumbing, the water going through the pipes. On the left side, you have the pipe. On the right side, you have the pipe. So it's like a dash and a dash. And what's going through is another dash. And we'll call all those dashes one. We'll go 1, 1, 1. We have the 12 commandments. We have the 10 commandments. We have the 12 tribes. 22nd letter equals life. 10, 10, 10. The eagle sits in the sky, high in the sky. 2 eagles equal 1,000. 1 eagle equals only 50. It's either 50 for 1 eagle or 2 eagles for 1,000. 1,000 and 1,000. You have 2 eagles, you have 2,000. You come into the year 2000. 14 years later, time will change. 16 years later, we will see the difference. But it's all going to begin now. So what I did is I went outside and I let my cat go outside, and the first thing she does is she looks to the left and she looks to the right. She jumps off the balcony 10 feet below, and the first thing she does is she wags her tail. Although my cat is a boy, I keep calling her she. She wags her tail to the left, she wags her tail to the right, she stops wagging her tail, and then she goes. Because the tail picks up the signals of what's in the air, because it's the matrix. The cats are connected. The animals are the ones who live here. We're just occupying their space. And we're spaced out more than they are. Because when our shit stinks, okay, we hurt other people. When theirs stinks, it doesn't hurt anybody. It just helps in evolution. The man cannot have all the bulls in one area. Rocky the Bullwinkle, okay, the Toro bull, okay, and Rocky and Bullwinkle are actually 2 bulls, because Rocky is a Bullwinkle and Rocky the moose. Rocky Bullwinkle the moose, and his little guy that comes with him is, what's his name? Rocky and Bullwinkle. Rocky, okay, is the flying thing. Rocky in Philadelphia, Rocky Independence, Sylvester S. Stallone, S and S, 38, 3 and 8 is 11 equals 2. My friends, we're coming into the time of telecommunications. The passage that Christ will come, or if the Hebrews want to say the Messiah, will come, the message they talk about is the internet, because the internet is the connection. That was a ghost 4,000 years ago, but the internet is no longer a ghost. Now we connect. So we don't have any tails, but we have a little mouse, and we move an arrow and a mouse, and we use our hands to move the arrows and the mouse. So we have a hand, an arrow, and a mouse. Hand, arrow, mouse. H-A-M. Ham. Ham radio communications. Ham, pork, porky, pig. 2 little noses, call them the dice of pigs. We are in the time of the transference of the energies. When you come in with the air and you end up in the water, it means we are in a soup bowl. And Aquarius is the aquarium of the bowl we are in. And the doors are closing. And you must enter and exit from the same elevator door. But it doesn't stop between floors, it passes between floors, because it never stops. Because when something stops, it has to go. And when something stops in this world, if this world would stop, we're in big trouble. Because all the elements stop, and then it's missing something, and nothing goes right after. It's just like having a heart attack. Once you have a heart attack, it's never the same anymore. One of the reasons we think about it. Oh my God, what if I this, what if I that? Well, it's a what if I this and what if I that should have been thought of before you did anything in your life. Or God wants to remind you of something for your children. God does things to us, okay, for our children. Because it's our children that live forever. Because tomorrow is forever. Children is forever. Today ends. Tomorrow is forever. Hashem is forever. We are in his land under the power of Christ. The Christ power is an acid. It's an element, and it's an electrical element from the sky. Alexander Graham Bell, Benjamin Franklin is the man. B and F. Beta, and the F is for February, for the month. Okay, Valentine's Day. Benjamin Franklin, Jesus Christ, the same energy that came from the sky that stopped the clock will restart the clock again, because we now have communication. Nobody before this can speak. We were shut down. So what we must do, the best thing to do is we have to follow the guidelines of what God brought to us. He brought us an internet, okay? They put a guy on Facebook, Lou Stansel or something? I have no idea, but I've spent a few messages with him. I did a number and letter count, and I think that's the place we should connect to start. Because you do know the law now in North America is no gangs or groups. So we're going to join something that was already there. It's a church. The church is already established, so now we can go and head towards the church. Although the church might be a medium and it may not be the preacher is the one who holds the books. Okay? What are we doing now? What are we doing next? Then he who is the power and the energy of Christ comes in, and then the two of them work together. And then we spread amongst the churches. We follow the 10 commandments and 216 of the basic laws, 613 total, making 829. 613, 216. 613, 216, 829. So if you want to know anything about 829, right, I'm going to be leaving you for a minute because I took something away that I shouldn't, and I'd like to know where it is. Wow. Oh, it's right here. The 216, I'm going to change this camera around. The 216, okay, I'm not sure exactly where it comes from, the 216. I know how to get to it again, but 216 hours, okay, is 9 days. 9 times 20 is 180, right? 9 times 4 is 36, you have 216. 21-6 means the beta birth of man, the one spirit. 6, 1, and 3, right? 6, 1, and 3. The creation of the one spirit of man, 3, 1, and 6. Are my numbers wrong? Well, what we're going to do now is 216, which is 9 days. The 1 day is in between where God's day is the 24 hours. Now, if you want to run this, get a paper, because I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to tell you the way I see it, okay? First, what you do is you run 1 day, okay? So you have the first day of 24 hours, and then you go 6 days if you want, but if you do it that way, you're going to end up on a Saturday again, so you can't do it that way. So you start with the 6 days first. Those 6 days entitle 144 hours, in which 6 days times 8 hours must be asleep. 48 hours to sleep, which is the number of the corners and the tribes. 4 and 8 is 12, 1 and 2 is 3. Okay? So you have the 8 hours of 9 days, which gives you 72 hours of sleep. Excuse me, 6 days. Sorry, I'm going too far forward. You have 9 days. Okay? 16 hours awake, one spirit of man, 6, and 8 hours of sleep, the number of the heaven. Okay? That makes the 24 hours a day. So you take 16 and you multiply it by the first 6 days, so it comes out to 96. And that's basically an alpha omega, because the 6 and 9 are 2 tails and 2 eyes. And between the 2 eyes of the 6 and the 9, okay, it's the mind that thinks. And let's see if I can draw it here. Where is it? 6, 9, you see that? But that there's a thinker, the thought adjuster. Thought adjuster goes through the center and gets everything. But he has to connect to everything. So he has to do this. Looks like a little dog, eh? Or a bird. That's Woody Woodpecker, my friends. You don't see it, okay? But when it's on this angle, you see it a little bit different. It's a mouse, it's Woody Woodpecker. So anyways, what happens now? Okay, 6 days of 16 hours awake, 8 days of 8 hours sleeping, you have 96 and 48. Okay, now you put in the 1 day God. It's 24. Just put it on the side now. Go to the next 3 days. Okay, 3 days awake. Okay, 16 hours is 48 hours. Plus the first original hours of 96 gives you 144. Okay, now you have 3 days of 8 hours is 24 hours, which is two 2 times 4, 2 plus 4 is 6 and 8 makes man of the heaven. Okay, so you end up with 48 hours, 144 hours awake now, and you have sleeping, you have 72. You have a total of 216. Plus the 24 hours of God, you have a total of 240. Okay, but at the 144 awake, okay, we have 3 goose eggs in our head. The one on the left, the one on the right, and us. 72, 72, 72. 6 times 6 times 6, 216. So 216, now that we have the 10 commandments established as in hours and how it works, 216 plus the 613 mitzvahs, 613, 216. Let me design it again to see if I'm right. 613 and 216. 928. 928. 928, it's 982 because of this. These are my last 3 cars. 928. Heaven, transfer, Jack. Time of heaven is over. HTJ. 8, 28, 38. 3 by 8 is 24 makes the day. 3 and 8 is 11. 38 and let me do that again. HTJ is 30, 38. 3 by 8 is 24. 3 and 8 is 11. The total is 35. 3 and 5 is 8. It means the heavens exit. 9. And here's my next plate I got. 289 again. XCW. And my last plate I got was 1 for 1, which is the 1 for 1 exchange, because the 5 on a dice has the 1 in the center and the 4 all around. So that was the last plate. Now this new plate, it was K. My first letter is K. K, the king, okay, equals to 2 and 7 in this world, or 7 and 2. My MrTacpans number is, I got that on my license plate, the exact number, except you couldn't put the number, they had to put a letter. So they put the K, standing for the king, and in this world, the king is 72. You're 36, he's 36, and the Holy Ghost is 36, says 108. And 108 is the total count of counting 2 suits of cards, and it would probably be the club and the heart, because it is man. It equals to a total of 108. And the reason for that is because 2 decks of cards with the jokers are 54, and 54 makes 108. So I made a mistake in there somewhere, and I'm a little bit tired, so I'm going to stop, because I get this right all the time because I know it off by heart. Right now my mind and my heart are splitting apart because I must be sleeping right now. I should not be up at this time. This is not in the rule book for me to stay up like this. So how did that go again? See, I didn't even know what it is right now, right? So anyways, we're going to leave it. I'm going to come back and check it out, and I'll write it down in detail once I publish this tape. Thank you very much. Raphael 7286. When a cat or dog waves their tail, it means 2 different things. They're 2 different kinds of animals. Some people move their ears, some their legs. Everybody's a little different. But for now, we all have to be different and associate the same. If you like anything, see my old videos. I am not here as a preacher. I am only here for the message. I see things that I think people don't see. So I just want to tell the people, because I don't charge anything. The money ain't going to change my life that much. A little bit will, but a lot of it won't change anymore. Once I get the little, the lot of the rest can go away. But if it's not distributed properly throughout the world, it'll happen the same way as it did now. We fell in love with money and out of the spirit. The value of money is valued more than the spirit of life. And people are on the street right now in Wall Street, and they're demonstrating, and it's a couple of months. My friends, the tale of a Lenin is in February. Do you think she didn't leave anything? I drove truck for 30 years. I know what happens when the trucks drive down the road. And she traveled a long way, and she wasn't a truck. She was a monster. She was Goliath bringing in the news. And David is going to capture that news, and we will celebrate one day when our minds connect. So let's connect to Standstill right on Facebook, okay? And maybe I'll be able to get all the messages through him, because I can't do this alone. It's not possible. It's impossible. I'm just going to melt away like the queen. I'll be like a candle wax, and at the end, there'll be nothing left because I'll have nothing left to say, because who am I going to be saying it to if we don't start now? If you want to go to work, you get into the car, you start the car. Heat up, heat up. You're such in a rush. Well, rush for this. Be a Russian for the first time in your life, because the Iron Curtain, okay, has blocked our vision in our minds forever. And iron is inside of us. So we must be the iron and put it aside. And that would be Ironside and Room 222, which came out in the same years back in the 70s. Everything associates to the future. It comes from the past that came from before. And everything repeats because everything is basically the same. It's over and over again.